Hi, everyone. I would like to welcome you to the Biomedical Engineering Information Session. My name is Julie Alley. We acknowledge that the BCIT campuses are located on unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the territories of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nations. We are going to have a presentation and program overviews and a Q&A at the very end. At this time, I'd like to introduce Alex, an instructor in the program.
Excellent. Thank you, Julie. Perfect. So yeah, my name is Alex Sayer. I'm a graduate of this actual program back in 2012, of which then I worked in pretty much every hospital in the Lower Mainland, save a few. So I was in the operating rooms at Royal Columbian Hospital, in the cardiac cath labs at Vancouver General, and still to this day, I'm a casual employee at VGH, Vancouver General, operating the hyperbaric chamber. So anyone with carbon monoxide poisoning, air embolisms, wound therapy, they go into a big pressurized vessel, breathe 100% oxygen at a very high concentration, so 100% O2 for wound therapy and all these other things. So then in 2019, I joined the BCIT as a faculty member, and I've been teaching in this program ever since. So I know there's no polls. We're still working out some of the kinks here with Microsoft Teams, but maybe in the chat you could I'll ask a question, 1, 2, or 3, your response. So I guess multiple choice. What is the primary role of a biomedical engineering technologist working in a hospital? Is it 1 or A, repairing medical equipment, 2, evaluating new medical equipment, or 3, ensuring the safe use of medical equipment? So again, normally we do a poll here, but if you have a chat function, you can just put 1, 2, or 3, repairing for 1, evaluating for 2, and then evaluating new equipment for 2, or 3, ensuring the safe use of medical equipment. And this is where I'll do an awkward pause. Perfect. 2, evaluating new medical equipment. 3, ensuring safe use. Some varied. So fantastic. Yeah, so I would say all 3 of these would be under the category. So the biomedical engineering technologist is a very broad role. So there's always new equipment coming into hospitals. There's always, I don't want to throw nurses under the bus, but other technologists in the hospitals break equipment too at a phenomenal rate. So you're always repairing things, and there's always making sure that people are safely and effectively using those medical devices. So yeah, whether you said 1, 2, or 3, all 3 of them absolutely are correct responses. So biomedical engineering technology, biomedical engineering applies science and engineering to healthcare and medical device industries. Our curriculum, which kind of separates us from other biomedical engineering programs, is very much focused on technology. So I think we just lost the slide deck there. So our program specifically on technology. So like I said, medical devices. Many of our graduates go into hospital at repairing, evaluating, and ensuring safe use of medical devices. Just give us a second while we get this slide deck going again. But again, not as much biology. I would say what separates our program from other programs is we're very technology based. So we're very much electronic based. Electronic medical equipment. I'm just going to take control again from you, Julie.
Correct. I apologize for that. I put the link in the chat and the video started to play.
Like we said, we've just switched over from Zoom to Microsoft Teams, so there's going to be hiccups here and there. We'll get through it. Fantastic. So yeah, you can see here, this is actually one of our old, our previous lab. We're now in a new facility. You can see it in my background here, the new School of Health Science. But this was in our previous lab, a lot of the same medical equipment, a lot of hands-on labs from the building blocks of electronics all the way up to patient monitors, incubators, anesthesia equipment, you name it. We have it in our labs, and there's likely at least one lab on them. So program overview, it's a 2-year full-time diploma of technology. We have both lectures and labs. 2 15 academic terms per year, so 2 15-week academic terms. And then at the end of the second semester, again, just like it just wrapped up a week ago. So after the second one, there's a 5-week hands-on semester where you, in the end of the first year, you practice a lot of your hands-on skills, crimping, soldering, 3D printing, all these things. And at the end of your second year, there's a 5-week placed practicum. So, and there's also a capstone project in year 2 where you build a medical device or assistive device from the ground up. And like I said, I alluded to here, 5 weeks of industry practicum at the end of that second year. A quick overview of the program. So for our first graduating class, the program's been going on since 1969. I guess 1967 would have been the first intake. We're nationally accredited. Roughly 40% of our students are straight from high school. About the other 60% have some form of secondary education, whether it be just college or university courses, all the way up to other engineering degrees coming in. About 40% of our students are female. Again, kind of varies every year. Around 40% is a good number, though. Students have been winning awards in engineering design competitions, and over 90% of biomedical engineering technologists working in BC are graduates from our program at BCIT. Many also work in the medical device industry, whether that be in servicing or R&D, research and development, or maybe even QC, quality control in manufacturing. A couple photos, some stock images of our labs. So you can see on the left here, X-ray equipment. Many of our grads go on work on radiology equipment, CTs, MRIs, things like that. Here we have an X-ray tube, and actually this is one of the X-ray rooms at BCIT. I believe it's been upgraded again in our new facility. But you can see some biomed students here projecting an image and putting some pennies and testing out the imaging plate there. We have an incubator on the bottom right for a baby in the NICU, neonatal intensive care unit. And at the top right, 2 techs that I actually work with at Vancouver General, Sion and Caitlin, doing a lab on a defibrillator. And in the back there, you see some students working on an infusion pump. So some award-winning student projects. This is where I shamelessly self-promote myself. So when I graduated the program in 2012, we won, my colleagues and I, my peers, Benny and Alan, developed an eye tracker that won and the Jim McEwen Excellent in Engineering Award. Still to this day, we're very proud. You can see that the device on the left there in the first prototype mount. On the device on the right, in 2017, I believe this was a location finder. So you would point your arm at a wall or something like that. It would send out a signal, whether it be ultrasound, whether it be a laser, and you would get some feedback for how close that wall actually is. So again, both student projects built from the ground up. On the left here, the Simon Cox Student Design Company, I forget the name of their project, but essentially this was a heated armrest for people in an armchair. So whenever you can see some weights on top there, whenever the patient or the client would put their arms on the armrest, it would complete a circuit and start warming it up. And on the right, I think our latest award-winning device, I think this is called the Peewee. So this is for a patient or a client that had a catheter, and they wanted some way to empty their catheter bag. So their idea was that they would use a verbal command. I think they said, water the bushes or water the grass, and then it would unload on the grass. The client in a wheelchair would be able to go where and self-autonomously actually empty their cargo. Some great news just announced from the BC government. Biomedical engineering technology is included in healthcare priority occupations. So if you go on this website here, again, we'll send the link out with all the other information. There's many healthcare, whether you take our program or another program, there's a long list of vacancies that the government is trying to recruit more qualified staff into, and biomedical engineering technology is on that list. So there's many communities in BC that if you are a qualified biomedical engineering technologist, they will give you a signing bonus of up to $15,000. And more importantly, likely for our students, is that a tuition credit of $2,000 for each BMet student per semester has just been announced. So again, that hasn't happened yet. I don't know all the details on there. We'll send out that link, but it seems like there is subsidies for students coming into our program, as well as a signing bonus for if you were a successful applicant into a position in locations in BC. I'm not sure exactly where. All that information's there. And again, this was announced just last month, so this is still brand new information. I alluded to the industry practicum. BCIT has a very healthy reputation for how hands-on our students are. And again, at the end of your 2-year diploma, there is a 5-week full-time work experience in either a hospital, a medical device company, or a research lab. Again, the hospitals are usually the bulk of our clientele. So students are assigned tasks at an entry-level technologist position. And we have over 60 practicum sites of other partners in the industry that take our practicum student and show them around for that 5 weeks. And again, I think on the next slide, we have a list here. Again, not all of them are just Vancouver General, Royal Columbian, your local hospital. There's other private companies like Stryker Medical, Rostam, Navigate Surgical, Technology for Independent Living, and then our Lower Mainland Biomedical Engineering. So again, those are like your local hospitals. Royal Jubilee on the island, up north, Northern Health, Interior Health. And we have people go all the way across Canada as well. In Ontario, the Hospital for Sick Children, and the Ottawa Heart Institute in Ontario as well. So lots of places that you could do your 5-week practicum. Generally, what happens is the months leading up to that final semester, that 5-week semester, that 5 weeks, you put down a list and you choose, let's say, your top 3 locations, and the best effort is done by the program to get you into that top list or into that top spot. Sometimes you're in 2 or 3, depending on how many students pick that as well. So job opportunities. So graduates from our BMet diploma, the bulk, I would say, go into service and support of medical equipment, whether that be at your local hospital, whether that be in a medical device company, like say working for GE or Philips on medical imaging equipment. Some go into research and development. I believe a graduate of our program last year is working for a private company that's developing new equipment. Device manufacturing, sales and marketing, generally probably later on in your career. And then further, many of our grads go on to other further studies as well. I think I have a slide up here that outline those opportunities. But job opportunities, our career outlook. The main focus here is our graduates. The main point, our graduates get work. Biomedical engineering professionals develop new medical devices and products to diagnose and treat patients. Every hospital and clinic needs biomedical engineering technologists to help life-saving machines function at their best. Work opportunities are dynamic and diverse with room for career advancement and flexibility. Career opportunities, creative, innovative, skilled biomedical engineering technologists or technology grads have numerous options from hospitals, technical support, sales, operations, design, and innovations. Grads can choose the field that best suit their skills and passion. Entry-level positions such as at a hospital, biomedical engineering technologists offer starting salaries of, I believe it's up to about $75,000 per year now. Again, our graduates work in research, development, and product innovation, hospitals, laboratories, private clinics, medical equipment, field service, technology support, training of staff, and medical product sales and marketing. So again, our grads go into many different areas. And of course, your career is always fluid. So this is always a great starting point. Sometimes, let's say after 10 years at a medical device company, instead of in the service, maybe there's more room for opportunity in sales. You're now a salesperson that has, direct knowledge of the product that you are selling. So some laddering opportunities. I myself, so again, I graduated from the program. I ended up taking more classes while working at my local hospital at BCIT. So we have two different options at BCIT, just in this engineering and management stream. Both bachelors of technology in bachelors of technology, one in healthcare technology management, and one in electronics. So I took the bachelor's of technology in electronics, and then I continued on, and I actually challenged the engineering exam with EGBC, Engineers and Geologists of BC, and I was able to become an engineer in training. And whenever I stop procrastinating so much, I can write up my competencies and become a professional engineer. Other students, maybe if they already have a degree, can go into, at UBC, there's the Masters of Engineering in Biomedical Engineering. I myself, again, after completing the B.Tech in Electronics at BCIT, completed the MEng at UBC just last year. And then there's also a Master of Technology, MOT, or a Master's of MBA at SFU. So again, these are all separate programs, some of them even separate schools, SFU and UBC here, from BCIT. So laddering is not automatic. You still have to apply and go through their admissions program. These are just many of the options that our graduates have taken over the years. So I have a testimonial here. I myself am not Catherine. You'll be shocked to hear. She actually just graduated last Friday. She completed her practicum at BC Children's and Women's and did phenomenally. So I'm just going to read out her testimonial. Like a lot of people, after high school, I took 4 years to get a Bachelor of Science in Biology and was left with few job opportunities in my field of interest. After learning about biomedical engineering, it seemed like the perfect fit. It combined my passions of biological science and helping people, and showed me how satisfying it is to take a broken device, fix it, and send it back out to help people. Importantly, this program has a goal to see you employed after the 2 years are over. The summer student experience and practicum, where you get to experience what the job will be like, is extremely beneficial. Apart from the hands-on experience, it also allows you to meet and network with other biomeds who graduated from the same program years prior. If you are like me, and by me I mean Catherine, you may be worried about not having much experience with electronic principles. I was worried I would fall behind my classmates, but the courses are well suited for students with all sorts of different backgrounds and specialties. They make sure to start teaching from the beginning, and even if you have no experience whatsoever in electronics, you can succeed. Finally, the small class sizes allow you to get close to your classmates and help each other out. I know I've made friends here that will last me a lifetime. Even if you are busy with courses, there is always some time to relax and go to the pub or head to the gym. I'm not sure about that. I might contest that. Biomedical engineering has expanded my interests and brought me career opportunities that have me excited about starting my career. So again, this is a second-year student. She just graduated last week. We invited her again, but I think she's still out celebrating with her cohort after 2 grueling years. But again, she makes a lot of good points here. Again, you can start from scratch. There's many of our students come into the program that have no electronics fundamentals, and we teach that from the bottom up, and then they end up making a medical device or an assistive device in their second year, and then go on to a worksite practicum. So we have 2 other testimonials here. Again, one from Pejnem Shirin, who is the manager of biomedical engineering at Vancouver General Hospital, as well as from Brian Lee, who is the equipment. I forget. Let me jump ahead to his slide. I don't want to get his. He is the equipment, the education coordinator for all of biomedical engineering in the entire Lower Mainland. So both of these individuals work for Providence Healthcare under the consolidated Lower Mainland Biomedical Engineering Group. So that LMBME, that will pop up a lot. So if you work at, if you go to Royal Columbian Hospital, if you go to Abbotsford Hospital, Lionsgate, UBC Hospital, Vancouver General, all of these biomeds are under the same organization, and they're all employees of Providence Healthcare. So The equipment life planning cycle, at every given point on this flow chart here, a biomed is there to help out the equipment life cycle of those medical devices. Planning, evaluation, implementation, operations and maintenance. So implementation, again, installing medical equipment, making sure that they're in the right location, operations and maintenance, making sure that the devices are being used properly, making sure that the devices are inspected. Almost always, most medical devices, every year they have to be inspected. Preventative maintenance needs to be done. Screws need to be tightened. O-rings need to be changed. Flow rates need to be calibrated. Performance management, again, making sure the device is operating optimally. And then at the very end of the device, something you don't usually think about, disposal. So making sure that it goes to the proper channels. Let's say if it's being donated abroad, again, it goes through those proper channels. A lot of the times, medical device manufacturers actually take their devices back. So I'm just going to read out. So Pej, he was a graduate from the program in 2005, started working at VGH, Vancouver General, shortly after. He worked 10 years as a technologist, became a supervisor for 3 years, and he's been a manager at Vancouver General ever since. The LMBME responsible for the life cycle, it was, as we see on the slide here, of over 100,000 medical devices in use throughout 27 healthcare facilities, spanning from Powell River to Chilliwack. So LMBME, for that 100,000 medical devices, the LMBME has 160 grads, basically 40 plus new grads in the last 4 years or so, almost all of which are coming from our program. We can see here, again, Brian Lee is the education coordinator for all of those 160, 180, depending on how many, the current amount of technologists there are right now. So Brian Lee, as you see in the bottom left here, graduated from BCIT's program in 2015. He worked on the island in Victoria, Nanaimo, until 2019, and then he came back to the Lower Mainland. And he is he has now completed or is about to complete that BCIT BTech in healthcare technology management. So more career advancement opportunities. Worked as a technologist for 2 years here, and now he's the equipment coordinator for the whole Lower Mainland Biomedical Engineering, making sure staff are trained properly. There's always education opportunities for medical devices, making sure that the technologists at hospitals are, properly educated and able to work on and calibrate these medical equipment. So as you can see here, this is actually at Vancouver General Hospital in one of the rooms in biomedical engineering. You may have heard this phrase before. Let's jump back 4 years in time to the start of the COVID outbreak. Everyone was worried about ventilators, so they put out the word. The Lower Mainland Biomedical Engineering Group, all of the ventilators in all of the education facilities, all these private clinics, everywhere. Basically, everyone provided those unused or retired ventilators to Vancouver General Hospital. And you can see this is actually the start of the provincial pandemic fleet. So again, we were very lucky that many of these ventilators never needed to be used, but a lot of them came out of retirement, and it was like an all hands on deck situation. And people like Brian Lee and other technologists at Vancouver General Hospital inspected them, replaced the batteries, got them all up to working specs, just in case, God forbid, someone that actually needed them. So we were very lucky in that regard to have biomedical engineering technologists ensuring that we had as all the medical equipment that we needed for that time. So I will now provide an overview of the application and admissions process. So again, the admissions into our program. So filling out the online application is relatively straightforward. Once application opens for each cycle, you can log in and review the online application. You can work on filling out the application at your own pace. It does not go to the admissions until you pay the application fee. The date you apply does not have an impact on your application. You have until the application deadline date to submit your application. So Regarding the application process, you will firstly review all entrance requirements and the application processing dates. You will then upgrade if necessary. So your courses, BCIT does offer upgrading courses in many subjects, and program advising can help assist you with this. Ensure that when you apply online that you have all of your required documents, such as transcripts, ready to scan and upload as PDF files. You can go to www.bcit.ca/admission, and it will guide you through the step-by-step application process. Once you are ready to apply online, you can visit what you can see on the screen here, www.bcit.ca/apply, and the application fee for domestic students is $90 Canadian. So the application process takes place entirely online. Therefore, you will need to convert your official transcript and any additional documents that may be required into PDF files. This program, we only have one intake per year. We're a relatively small program at BCIT. Other programs may have multiple application windows, maybe in January. For us, we only have one intake, and that program or that year starts in September. So the next start date, September 2024. The application period, we actually do 2 application periods, just so that we can send out some early offers, October 1st to February 15th. And then we have a second window, which has now been extended until August. So if you are available, we are still, the application window, the period has been extended for this September 2024 intake. So entry to biomedical engineering is by competition. Several seats will be offered after the first application deadline, and applicants who do not receive an offer at the first deadline will be reconsidered in the final deadline. So now let's review the requirements. So category 2, English 12, 67% or equivalent. These are the required entrance requirements. Required entrance requirements. I don't like that heading now that I say it out loud. So pre-calculus 12, again, that's your math 12, 67%. I believe we've labeled it as pre-calc because there's a lot of people that come in with other named university or post-secondary mathematics courses. Chemistry 11 or chemistry 12, both 67% or equivalent. Physics 12, 67%. And additional forms, physical requirements, mandatory applicant questionnaire, and an immunization review. So again, a lot of people come into the program, and remember, most of the practicums are done at hospitals. So we do have, because we are in the School of Health Science, we have an immunization review process to go through as well. And then preferred requirements, preference will be given to applicants with academic grades above the minimum. Again, like we said, it's a competitive process. Requirements completed within the last 5 years. So obviously, the more current, the better, but do not let that dissuade you from applying. And additional post-secondary academic courses or bachelor's degree. So again, it's a competitive process. With that said, always apply, and if you are interested, or you can ask for further details. So admissions process, admissions assesses online applications within 2 to 4 weeks. Applications that are completed are sent to the department. The department shortlists and selects applicants after the application deadline, and then admissions sends the acceptance letters. So again, you apply, admissions at BCIT will do the first filtering. They'll send the applicants that have met the minimum requirements off to us. We will shortlist them and send out our offers. So from the services area, here are some other important student supports that I'd like to mention. BCIT is committed to providing assistance to students with permanent or temporary disabilities. If you have been accepted to a program and believe you may need accommodation to be successful, I encourage you to connect with our Accessibility Services Department. The Counseling and Student Development Department are available to help enhance your educational performance and maximize success as a student at BCIT. They have been offering virtual and phone appointments presently. Each department moving forward will determine how they will offer services in the fall with a return to campus, please refer to their page at bcit.ca. If you are of an Indigenous background, BCIT Indigenous Initiatives is here for you and to ensure a smooth transition into your first year. They offer peer-to-peer mentorship, a welcoming gathering place, and provide clarification on Indigenous funding options. BCIT Student Health Services is a health clinic located on the Burnaby campus. They provide medical care for current BCIT students year-round. Currently, they're providing both phone and virtual appointments, and I strongly suspect will be back open in the fall. They are back online. I encourage you to review BCIT's awards, scholarships, and bursaries that are listed on our financial aid and awards webpage. I will mention one award. BCIT has a President's Entrance Award for which selection is based on academic achievement, but also volunteer and community service. Additional details will be referenced specific to financial aid. But first, I want to mention the Recreational Services Department. They have been offering virtual workouts and an esports league that students could compete in to keep active during the pandemic. Again, we are all back in person now. It is my hope we are back in person. Perfect. Again, at BCIT, as Catherine mentioned in her testimonial, there is a gym. There's lots of recreational activities that you can sign up for. And of course, do not hesitate. Oh, looks like you taking control, Julie.
Thank you, Alex. Yes, I will finish up this section of slides. Now, for program advising, please don't hesitate to contact them if you have any questions about entrance requirements, applications, student resources, success strategies, scheduling, and more. They're available to assist you on specific days via telephone, email, in-person, or virtual appointments. If your inquiry is time sensitive, we encourage you to please call during telephone advising hours, as that is the best option to get your questions answered quickly. Moving on from there, these are our social media handles: Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. We also encourage you to visit our campus, sign up to spend a day where Alex can take you around the labs, show you the buildings, there's also our big info, which is in the fall, where you can see multiple programs across the Institute. In addition, we welcome you to join other info sessions just like this or visit program advising. At this time, I'd like to open up the Q&A. If you don't see the chat function, please unmute, raise your hand, and ask your question. Otherwise, you can leave your comments and questions in the chat. For you, Alex, does working as a technologist in a hospital?
That is an excellent question. So there is a on-call aspect. It's not required. So generally, you need at least 1 year of experience before you can go on an on-call pager. I will say they pay decently well in hospitals in the Lower Mainland for on-call. So it's not that it's required of you. If anything, there's more people that want that on-call because of the extra money. So yes, that is, biomed is the good thing about biomedical engineering technology in a hospital is that the regular working hours are from 8 to 4. So again, you can leave at the end of the day. There's no overnights or shifts, things like that. So it's a Monday to Friday, 8 to 4. With that said, there is an on-call aspect, and you are paid a premium for being on call. So generally, people want to do it. There's a sign up for it. And then what additional post-secondary courses are recommended for students trying to get in the program? So again, if you have an engineering degree, I think that's what we label as our highest. Then there's bachelors of science, and basically we kind of have a roster of our things that we're looking for. So like we said, it's a competitive entry process. So any other degree is going to give you an edge when you're applying. Two great questions. Yeah.
I'd like to also mention, oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I was just going to read out the question.
I just want to mention that in the chat is the student outcomes with the median salary rates, and then there's the new supports for allied health and clinical supports that you were talking about, that announcement that came out last month. That link is also in the chat. So when you have a moment, please just open those up or save them for later, and you will get them in the transcript as well. So please look at those articles when you have a moment.
The question about physics 12 and pre-calc math, I believe that you would need to upgrade those. So that would be on admissions before they send them off to the department. So we have our minimum entry requirements. You need to have the minimum for application.
I'm putting the tuition estimator in the chat, but go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know what the total is. Keep in mind, I know our program has a slightly higher tuition. With that said, with that new subsidy from the government, it's going to definitely make it much more affordable for our students. Will Casper required for future intakes? No, I believe the Casper entrance requirements is being removed.
While Rachel is writing her question, I wanted to just let you know that if you had any questions, please feel free to email the program head, Anthony Chan. He is very responsive and loves answering questions of potential students.
If it's been longer than 5 years since you graduated from high school, will you need to upgrade? I do not believe so, but as we said, with their preference will be made for someone that's within that 5 years. Again, that's that competitive process. I know we've had many students that have come, maybe had one I'm thinking of that works at VGH had a long career in IT and ended up taking our program.
We'll still wait on for a few more minutes if there's to see if a thought crosses your mind or if there's something you want to ask. But in the meantime, I would just like to thank everybody for their time in attending this session and Alex for this wonderful presentation. So thank you to everybody. We will stay on for a few more minutes in case you wanted to unmute yourself or just ask anything in the chat.
And thank you, Julie. I just showed up and started talking. Julie did all the background work and sorted out the whole team stuff. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Just to encourage you once again to look, we try and have students participate in our socials as much as possible because really that's what's most interesting. And so oftentimes we'll feature student projects or what they're doing on campus, what they're eating, any awards that they may be up for nominated or receiving. So you can get a real authentic student view by looking at our socials. If you're undecided at this point, there we do welcome you for that spend a day where you get to see our labs and meet some of the students themselves, as well as big info again in October. So a lot of opportunity to connect with our faculty, staff, and students.
Yeah, I highly recommend attending that big info session. There's so many things happening across campus. Every program is basically putting on, has a table of booth. Myself, I pull out a bunch of some of our medical equipment, put on a SpO2 probe, a partial pressure of oxygen, like you would have at a hospital. See your heart rate, see how oxygenated your blood is.
Thank you, Alex. And at this time, I think I'm going to stop the recording and we will close the event. So thanks again, everyone.